किसी में से फैमिली में से अगर किसी को हो रहा है तो like you know how do you deal with the entire situation? It is not only medical but it is also a mental fight that you have to give, guys. All right? So before we start, I would like to wish Anju ma'am happiest birthday. A very, very happy birthday to you, ma'am. And I wish that you always stay as elegant and as timeless beauty as you are. Yeah? Keep inspiring us all. I will request you all to put your mobile phones on silent, please. If you have not done so far. So guys, why have we chosen Navratri to spread the awareness on a subject like cancer? It is just because the festival of Navratri is just so vibrant, so cheerful, and we at Ashar, we want each and every employee of ours to be as vibrant and as cheerful and be fit to enjoy not only the Navratri festival but your entire life, guys. Right? So not taking much of the time, I will call Sushmita ma'am over here and please take this ahead. Round of applause, please. A hero in true sense.
To the parts of the body that, you know, you have to lift up a pen. So I said, oh, that means my mind controls my body. So why not my mind control even this problem, this disease? That's how I decided that my mind will be stronger than my body in fighting this disease. So I have 6 more I have to have 6 chemos, so 2 more left. On a funny side, I think I won my league matches. I have won my quarterfinals, so I'm remaining with my semis and my final, and then I'll get my World Cup trophy to carry along, which I'm going to keep it for myself. Life was moving at a top speed, all set. My husband, kids were flourishing, and me as usual in great spirit. It all started when my husband noticed my tummy was unusually bloated while we were having a stroll through our complex. He made a joke, "I hope you're not pregnant." And then he urged me to go to a doctor. It all started with one visit to the doctor, followed by flurry of tests, until my oncogynac informed me that I had 2 large tumors on both sides of my ovaries and that I needed immediate surgery. It was a lot to handle, but I had a great support system of my family, friends who helped me. My family and I were off on a complete new path. Not just me, but everyone in my family, my husband, my kids, my sisters. On brighter sides, there was no time to think, ask for help or delay. We had the only time to act, which meant fixing the D-Day, which was 1st of July 2022, which happens to be the Doctor's Day. So I was very lucky to be operated on a Doctor's Day. I'll never forget that. My family's fear were apparent to me. I vented mine when I saw my scan report. Although I'm strong, I had to be above and beyond for my family. But in this situation, I found out that seeing my loved ones in despair was tough. I went on to the field. My field is the operation theater, with my entire confidence, knowing that I had to win. My mind had to beat my body in this match, else I would lose. The doctor had informed me that my ovaries, uterus, and any malungated organs discovered during the procedure will be removed. The procedure took around 6 hours. The prayers of my family who hoped that the operation was successful was answered. Post-operation, at this difficult moment, I had a humorous thought, me being me. Wow, I can see myself go through menopause without any trouble now. The prayers of my family, with 40 stitches and an hopeful mindset, while I waited my biopsy report, the final and the most critical score arrived, and my family was disappointed. I was diagnosed with high-grade 3A ovarian cancer. However, all of my nodes were negative and non-malungated. So I see the positive side. I don't see the negative point of it. I'm currently retelling this incident with great enthusiasm, but the experience has transformed me. When you experience something like that, you're more aware of what is important in life, and you also start to value your health more. If you or someone you know has been diagnosed with cancer, my best advice is to stay positive and lean on your loved ones for support. Listen to your doctor's advice and follow them is very important. I would also like to share a small thing. I have an 11-year-old son. So when I shaved myself bald, my 11-year-old son did not inform me, but gave me a surprise and went and he shaved off his hair. And he said to me that I support you, Mom, in this cause because I'm proud of you. So these small things when you get support from pushes you to fight the battle more. I cannot sum up my talk without thanking Ajay sir, from whom I received a message, whose message boosted me and I said, oh sir believes I can make it. I can make it. So these messages, Ayushi, who trusted me, who pushed me, who gave me hand, who said you can go here, you can go there, did again boost my morale, because boosting morale of a cancer patient at this time is very much needed. Here I remember that I had run a 5 kilometers cancer run, which we had, and I think I was that time a cancer patient, but I ran without knowing that. Well, of course, it was a destiny which happened. It would be incomplete if I forget Seema ma'am, who is a family to me, not an Asharite, plus an Asharite, to keep on checking on me off and on and how I am, sending me books to read so that I am busy. Thank you one and all from Ashar who visited me or called me, meant a lot to me because it made me strong. I cannot name all of you all because the list would become very long. I'm also aware that chemo is just the end of a treatment. I have to keep my checkups till next 5 years and would like to continue to change, like the continued change life like food, exercise. Thanking all of you for having the patience to hear me here today. And this is me, Sushmita Rana, a cancer patient, strong, standing strong, yet not completed my treatment. Thank you very much.
Check. Thank you, Sushmita ma'am, for sharing that. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Thank you so much. That means a lot. When we think about war, when we see the movies, that's a very different thing. But when you suddenly see a soldier coming right in front of you and talking about what the battle is actually about, makes a lot of difference, right? So I would call somebody who is a commander-in-chief from now. Dr. Anil, please, the stage is all yours. Please guide us through. Thank you.
So thank you for the kind introduction, and thank you all for being here in spite of it being Navratri. Happy birthday, ma'am, and it's a great thing that you're doing this on the birthday. Goes with the Prime Minister doing every birthday as Seva Divas. So that's something in that line. And Shushmita, you are wonderful, lovely. I think half the work is done. I don't really need to talk anything because this is what it is all about, isn't it? It is about inspiring confidence. It is about telling tales of courage, tales of bravery, and tales of endurement, and going through it all and winning it at the end of it. And finally, thank you, my doctor, for arranging this so that we can take this message across. Do I continue in English, or what do you want me to continue in? Hindi, English, kuch bhi? So let's start with just a general question कि cancer जब कहते हैं तो what comes to your mind? You are not qualified to answer this question. क्या आता है? हाँ? डर. और इसलिए सब पीछे बैठे हैं, आगे की सीट सिर्फ अंजू मैडम के लिए छोड़ दिए. हाँ? आप आगे बढ़ो, हम आपके पीछे हैं. और बस एक ही डर. अभी सुष्मिता जी ने बोला तो फिर बाद में अभी हम कैसे बोले. सो बेसिकली मेरे को हमेशा एक याद आता है, जब भी कभी मैं कहीं गुजराती समाज में बोलता हूं तो एक वाक्य जरूर आता है, कैंसर થઈ गया तो પછી मानस कैंसल થઈ गया. ये जो सेंटेंस है, that defines cancer, and that defines the feeling that people have when they are told that somebody has cancer, and that, my friends, is unfortunately more than half the fight lost. Because क्या होता है कि आपकी अगर मेंटालिटी नहीं रही, आप हारने के डर से अगर कोई जंग में गए या कहीं भी गए, खेल में गए, तो वहीं ही गेम खत्म हो जाता है. तो let us try and bust some myths today. Sushmita actually is a living example, so I really don't have to talk much about it. We are now beyond this, so that's a good thing. This is the first time we are having physical meetings, physical programs. We are celebrating Navratri in such great gusto, and that is because we are now out of the pandemic, which really clouded us. But it was a very bad time for cancer, because as it is in India, the problem is cancer gets diagnosed quite late. There was a study in Calcutta which said that the average time that a patient takes to come to a doctor is 4 months after they have noticed a symptom. Okay, and the pandemic meant that this is going to extend even further. So they estimate 1 lakh more deaths because of the pandemic, and that was a really bad time. So thankfully, with God's grace, we are now out of it, and hopefully we should be doing better. People do have a better understanding of healthcare thanks to the pandemic. If we have something positive to take from the pandemic, is basically that people now have a better understanding of healthcare. So now, what is exactly cancer? Now, can anybody tell me what exactly is cancer? What do you think that when cancer happens, what happens? Okay? Nobody? कुछ भी? वड़ा पाव खाने से? क्या रखा है खाने में, मैडम? हाँ, वड़ा पाव रखा नहीं है ना? Yes. Very good. So basically, cancer is, videos play नहीं हो रहे क्या? हाँ. So basically, as he rightly said, absolutely right, cancer is not something that you get from outside. Ultimately, it is basically a cell which forgets that it's a part and a friend and a part of your own body. It undergoes a change, and because of this change, that one cell becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 16, and a tumor is formed. Now, as he rightly said, if this tumor does not go beyond that organ, it is supposed to be non-cancerous. आपने fibroids के बारे में सुना है? Fibroids जो यूट्रस में होते हैं, मेनोपॉज के बाद बहुत बार होते हैं, वो भी ट्यूमर्स हैं, लेकिन वो non-cancerous tumors हैं, वो फैलते नहीं हैं. But these are tumors which spread from one part to the other, and that is why they are called as cancer. But what causes this cancer? What causes this change? What causes these cells to become rebellious? ये क्यों अपनी जगह भूल जाते हैं? क्यों ये अपने ही दुश्मन बन जाते हैं? क्या क्या हो सकता है? सो हर कैंसर की अपनी एक कहानी है, बट द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट रीजन इज tobacco. Now tobacco is basically not only just nicotine. Now when you talk about cigarettes, you must realize that each tobacco product, for example a cigarette, is not made, how many people smoke? चांस ही नहीं है ना, चांस ही नहीं है किसका हाथ ऊपर करने का. Good, at least somebody is honest. So basically a cigarette smoke is not about just nicotine. Okay, there are so many chemicals. It is estimated roughly around 70 chemicals, 28 of which are direct carcinogens. यानी उनको किसी की जरूरत नहीं है कैंसर कॉज करने की, वो अपने बलबूते पे कैंसर कॉज कर सकते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल इफ यू लुक एट इट, देयर इज समथिंग, आपने वो एड देखी होगी सिनेमा में, तो आजकल कोई जाते नहीं है, लेकिन फिर भी वो इतना टार आपको बीमार, बहुत बीमार कर सकता है. That ad is so beautiful. उसमें जो tar रहता है, that tar can cause cancer. That tar is present in cigarettes. Okay, so basically these chemicals also, when they come together, they form such a potent cocktail कि it becomes a definite recipe for cancer. And now since it is, most of this crowd is women, and lot of people think that अरे मैं तो सिगरेट कभी पीती नहीं है. There are two problems. One, smoking in women is increasing. And secondly, there is something called as smokeless tobacco. We don't realize this, but nearly 1 in 4 women consume smokeless tobacco, which is, what is smokeless tobacco? गुटखा खाया है कभी ऐसे ही लंच टाइम पे, बॉस ने बहुत दिमाग खाया नहीं, तो गुटखा. Secondly, there is something called as masheri. Anybody aware of what masheri is? People use it to clean their teeth. They feel that it is a very good tooth cleaner, but in fact it is tobacco, and they get a kick out of it, and that's why they use this masheri. So these are smokeless tobacco, and incidence of smoking in young women is now increasing. This actually, there are no need to have statistics. You actually see this, right? You go anywhere, you just see more and more women smoking. So that is one area where people should not, where women should really not aspire to be better than men, and that is because this is such a bad habit. Because in a woman it can cause not only just lung cancer like it causes in everybody. These are the different types of cancers which are caused just by smoking. 14 types of cancer, and as you can see in this graphic, right from nose, throat, lungs, food pipe, एकदम नीचे जाके ओवरी, सर्वाइकल कैंसर तक, सब कुछ स्मोकिंग के वजह से हो सकता है, इंक्लूडिंग ब्रेस्ट कैंसर. यू माइट थिंक स्मोक उधर क्या करता है, लेकिन फिर भी स्मोकिंग के वजह से जो केमिकल लोचे होते हैं शरीर में, वो सब ये कॉज करते हैं. सो स्मोकिंग, इफ इट इज बैड फॉर मेन, it is worse for women. And that, let me come to my topic of today specific. Yes, I'll come to that. Second part was that the passive smoking. You are absolutely right. आपने वो एडवर्टाइजमेंट देखा होगा, वो एक लड़की देखती है अपने बाप को स्मोकिंग करते हुए, राइट? और वो एकदम कंसर्न से देखती है. So this is called as passive smoking. Do you know how many people get cancer just because of passive smoking in the world? Any estimates? 6 lakh people get cancer because of just passive smoking. That is, they have not touched the smoke at all, but it is just people in their surroundings who smoke. And that is why, you know, when just as a trivia, when was the first cigarette rolled? First cigarette, not tobacco. Tobacco is very ancient. Yes, sir. आपने स्मोकिंग चालू की, तभी सोचा ये सिगरेट कब से आई है? So the first cigarette was 1850. 1852 was the first cigarette. Okay. The first report that smoking causes cancer came up in 1955. यानी 103 साल लगे मनुष्य जात को समझने के लिए कि ये जो काड़ी है, ये काड़ी में बहुत कांड है, बराबर? 103 साल. और उसके बाद कितना टाइम लगा स्मोकिंग बैन होने को? एनी आइडिया? व्हेन द, आज आप यहां बैठे हो, Believe me, when in my school days, you could light up a smoke here and I could not say no. You will know that. Right? There were people, you could smoke in a bus, you could smoke in a train, you could smoke in a theater, you could smoke anywhere. Anybody who objected was shouted upon and kept quiet. It took all of 50 years more, 1992, and that too only in airports. Uske baad, 2000s ke baad, there came a smoking ban in public places. So that is the kind of lobbying that happens with tobacco. Because tobacco is a very powerful industry, there is a officially also there is so much money that is generated from tobacco that it is impossible for the government. आपको मालूम है गुटखा बैन है महाराष्ट्र में? मालूम है? मिलता है सब जगह easily मिलता है. तो so that is the problem that happens. So it is very difficult for the government to do it. If something has to happen, it has to happen from the people, from us as a movement that we have to stop tobacco. So now what are the risk factors as far as breast cancer is concerned? Now one of the risk factors, there is no real one thing that causes breast cancer. So basically one is age. As age increases, the risk of breast cancer increases. Secondly is, as we discussed, various kinds of addictions can cause breast cancer. Thirdly is basically what they say is a long menstrual history. Nowadays people are getting puberty early and getting menopause late, and then they are having less number of children. So all these three things put together expose the breast to a large amount of menstrual cycles. और आपको मालूम है कि breast में changes होते हैं. Everybody realizes that the size becomes different, there is pain during menses, all those things happen. That means the breasts undergo change during your periods. So more number of periods, more the chances that the breast will have more cell divisions happening within that, and more the number of cell divisions. हमने क्या सुना था पहले? That more the number of cell divisions, more chances of the cell going bad, and then cancer happening. So this is one of the reasons that it happened. By no means I am saying you should have 14 children. नहीं तो that's not the message. Just to reduce the incidence of breast cancer. So that's not, basically these are the things that happen as life changes, as lifestyles change. The second thing that happens as part of lifestyle is obesity. Now obesity is one of the leading causes of cancer, not only breast cancer but all other types of cancers as well, like colon cancer, uterus cancers. These are caused by your increased intake of saturated fatty acids as well as increasing weight. Family history is another cause that we always talk about. A lot of times what happens is that since there is no particular cause, people feel that family history is a very important cause. और आजकल तो लोग ऐसे पूरे बड़े के बड़े फाइल्स लेके आते हैं, शादी का प्रपोजल रहेगा तो आई थिंक दो लोगों के पास आजकल लोग जाते हैं. एक तो इधर जाएंगे ज्योतिषी के पास जो पहले से आ जाते थे कि हॉरोस्कोप्स मैच हो रहे हैं कि नहीं, और दूसरे कैंसर के डॉक्टर के पास कि उनके घर में कैंसर था तो रिश्ता बनाए कि नहीं बनाए, उनके ग्रैंडफादर को गले का कैंसर था तो लड़की को ब्रेस्ट कैंसर होगा क्या, ये पूछने को आते हैं लोग. हाँ आते हैं. और इसमें जो प्रॉब्लम ये है कि ब्रेस्ट फैमिली हिस्ट्री ऑफ कैंसर अकाउंट्स फॉर ओनली 5% ऑफ ऑल कैंसर्स. 95% of cancers can occur to anybody anywhere. So that is not a very big cause of cancer. और हर कैंसर की अपनी फैमिलीज रहती हैं. जैसे ब्रेस्ट कैंसर, ओवेरियन कैंसर, एंडोमेट्रियल कैंसर, यानी यूट्रस का कैंसर, ये एक फैमिली है. कोलोन कैंसर एक फैमिली है. तो उसका मतलब ये होता है कि अगर दादाजी को सिगरेट पीने के वजह से लंग कैंसर हुआ था तो बच्ची को ब्रेस्ट कैंसर होगा ऐसा नहीं. तो ये क्लैरिटी अपने को आनी चाहिए, ये अपने को इंसाइट रहनी चाहिए, नहीं तो लॉट ऑफ लाइव्स आर लॉस. स्पेशली ये लव मैरिजेस में बहुत प्रॉब्लम होता है. बहुत लोग आके पूछते हैं फिर वो देयर हैज टू बी सम रीजन टू रिफ्यूज, नो. सो दैट इज वन ऑफ द रीजंस इज दिस. तो दैट इज व्हाट हैपेंस. पीपल कम विद देयर इन-लॉज एंड ऑल. बहुत होता है. वी आर टुडे मोर ऑफ फैमिली फिजिशियंस. आई फील देयर इज सो मच ऑफ काउंसलिंग दैट वी नीड टू डू. तो स्पेशलिस्ट के जगह हम फैमिली फिजिशियंस हो गए. तो नवीन सर का हम लोग काम बहुत करते हैं. So, what are the symptoms of a breast cancer? Okay, now symptoms of breast cancer, बहुत बार हमको लगता है कि कैंसर इतनी बड़ी बीमारी है तो जोर शोर से आनी चाहिए, बहुत ढोल बजने चाहिए, ताशे बजने चाहिए, वार्निंग साइंस बजने चाहिए, एयर सायरन्स होने चाहिए। बट आपने सुना सुष्मिता को, उन्होंने क्या कहा? कुछ नहीं। शी रैन अ मैराथन, एनी प्रॉब्लम्स? नो, इट वॉज जस्ट नोटिस्ड इंसिडेंटली। तो ब्रेस्ट कैंसर में भी एक ही साइन होती है कि ब्रेस्ट में गांठ आ जाती है और ये गांठ पेनलेस रहती है, उसमें ना दर्द होता है, ना उसमें बुखार होता है, ना उसमें पेन होता है, कुछ भी नहीं। देयर इज अ सिंपल इनोसेंट small lump in the breast which is hard and which is slowly growing, no other thing. So a painless lump in the breast, if there is one message that I would like to give today, is a painless lump in the breast is more dangerous than a painful lump in the breast. So ये important चीज है कि painless lump होगा उसको ignore नहीं करना चाहिए, क्योंकि उसको ignore करते हैं तो वो बढ़ते जाता है, जैसे वो बढ़ता है उसमें अदर चेंजेस आ जाते हैं, ब्रेस्ट हार्ड हो जाती है, उसके ऊपर की स्किन में चेंजेस आ जाते हैं, निपल से डिस्चार्ज हो जाता है, वो आइदर रेडिश डिस्चार्ज होगा या ब्लैकिश डिस्चार्ज होगा, बगल में गठाने आ जाती हैं और फिर वो बाद में जैसे जैसे स्प्रेड हो जाता है वैसे वैसे वो सिम्टम्स तैयार हो जाते हैं। सो अगेन निपल डिस्चार्ज कैन, बहुत लोगों को निपल डिस्चार्ज होता है, लेकिन इफ इट इज ऑफ रेड कलर एंड इफ इट इज ऑफ ब्लैक कलर, वी मस्ट गेट इट चेक्ड. So what next? Once that is done, once somebody has the symptom of breast cancer, then what is the next thing that is done? We consult a doctor and there is a test called as mammography that is done. Anybody heard of mammography? Okay, mammography is a special X-ray of the breast. As you can see in the animation there, this is the machine of mammography. It is not an X-ray of the chest. These are two glass plates, किसके बीच में breast को रखा जाता है, उसको उसके एक्सरेज निकाले जाते हैं। ये एक्सरेज हमको ब्रेस्ट कैंसर डिटेक्ट करने में मदद करते हैं। मोर देन 90% ऑफ ब्रेस्ट लम्प्स कैन बी डिटेक्टेड ऑन अ मैमोग्राम। सो ये एक्सरे अलग होता है, ये छाती का एक्सरे नहीं होता। बहुत बार नाउअडेज इट इज लेस, बट प्रीवियसली बहुत ज्यादा था कि लोग ब्रेस्ट ये वर्ड यूज नहीं करते थे। ओके, पीपल यूज टू से छाती, और फिर वो छाती का एक्सरे बनता था। और छाती का एक्सरे जो रहता है, जो नॉर्मल कोविड के टाइम हम लोग जो एक्सरे करते थे, वो एक्सरे और ब्रेस्ट का मैमोग्राम, ये दो अलग चीजें होती है। ओके, सो वो छाती के एक्सरे में आपको ब्रेस्ट के बारे में कोई भी इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं मिलता। उसके बाद क्या होता है? उसके बाद एक बायोप्सी होती है। आपने सुना होगा बायोप्सी। बायोप्सी क्या होती है? बायोप्सी एक सैंपल निकाला जाता है। वो ब्रेस्ट में कैसे निकाला जाता है? तो ब्रेस्ट में एक ऐसी नीडल रहती है कि जो नीडल ब्रेस्ट के लंप में, वो लंप में छोटी सी नीडल डाली जाती है मैमोग्राफ के आधार पे, एंड देन अ स्मॉल पीस इज टेकन आउट एंड सेंट फॉर टेस्टिंग। नाउ पीपल हैव लॉट ऑफ रिजर्वेशन अबाउट बायोप्सी। लोगों को लगता है कि अगर हम लोग उसको सर्जरी करते हैं या बायोप्सी करते हैं तो हम लोग उस ट्यूमर को छेड़ रहे हैं, और ऐसे छेड़ के वो ट्यूमर एक्सप्लोड होगा और वो फैल जाएगा। बट दैट्स एब्सोल्युटली अ मिथ। ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं होता। बायोप्सी के बिना आपको पता ही नहीं चलता है कि ये बीमारी कौन सी है, और उसके बिना उसकी ट्रीटमेंट चालू नहीं होती। तो ये सब करने के बाद हम लोग उसकी स्टेजेस को अनुमान लगाते हैं। स्टेजेस क्या होते हैं? बेसिकली स्टेज ऑफ कैंसर इज एक्चुअली अ वेरी सिंपल थिंग। अगर हमने सोचा तो बेसिकली वो कैंसर का एक्सटेंट रहता है। आपने देखा होगा कि बिल्डिंग में से प्लांट्स आते हैं। यू मस्ट हैव सीन दोज प्लांट्स व्हिच कम आउट ऑफ द पाइप्स इन द बिल्डिंग। ओके, नाउ व्हेन इट इज अ स्मॉल थिंग, यू जस्ट टेल योर किड कि बाबा उसको उठा दे, नहीं तो बड़ा हो जाएगा। एंड इवन अ स्मॉल 10-year-old कैन इजीली प्लक इट आउट, राइट? नो प्रॉब्लम्स। ओके, नाउ इफ यू अलाउ इट टू ग्रो, देन व्हाट हैपेंस? It strikes roots, it becomes more difficult. If you pull it out, even some roots remain, then you have to put some acid in it, right? So that is stage 2. Suppose somebody ignores it even further, बरसात आ रहा है, अभी टाइम नहीं है, बाद में देखेंगे, हस्बैंड को बोला तो हस्बैंड बोलता है कि नहीं नहीं ऑफिस को देरी हो रही है, तूने चाहिए तो देख लेना, तो फिर बाद में देखेंगे, संडे को देखेंगे. तो क्या होता है, वो वॉल्स में जाता है, बराबर, वॉल्स में जाता है, वो और बड़ा हो जाता है, उसके लीव्स आते हैं, इट बिकम्स लाइक ऑलमोस्ट अ ट्री विच इज ग्रोइंग आउट ऑफ द बिल्डिंग. Then you have to call the plumber, you have to replace the pipe, you have to get the wall plastered. ये स्टेज 3 हो गया. अभी अगर कोई इग्नोर करता है, बोले आशर जी आ रहे हैं और वो रीडेवलपमेंट करेंगे बिल्डिंग का, अभी हम लोग क्यों पैसा खर्चा करें रिपेयर का, बराबर कि नहीं, तो फिर क्या होगा, वो पूरे के पूरे वॉल को डिस्ट्रॉय कर देता है. बचता है कुछ नहीं बचता है. सो इट इज नॉट ओनली इन कैंसर दैट थिंग्स आर डिस्ट्रॉयड, ये लाइफ में भी है. इफ यू अलाउ अ थिंग टू बिकम bad enough, whether it is a relationship or whether it is a disease, it will get destroyed. So everything needs to be treated in time, and that has a correlation with survival as well. जैसे breast cancer में first stage में people are 95% of the time completely cured of the disease. In fact, in breast cancer, even in stage 4, now a lot of treatments are available by which people are watching the door, she was watching the servant, she was doing so, hearing the radio at that time. Her hand used to go into the salt jar without looking, and उतना ही नमक वो ले सकती थी जितना उसको चाहिए. What is this? This is specialization, because she's been doing this time and again, year after year, day after day, because she's been in that same place doing the same thing again and again, you become good at it. So specialization, besides the long number of degrees, etc., is the numbers that people do. If you do the same thing again and again, you are obviously going to get better at it. And that is how a specialist surgeon doing this surgery in breast cancer, in rectal cancer, in food pipe cancer is supposed to be a prognostic factor, which means that that surgeon affects the chances of cure in that patient. The second treatment that has happened is radiation. Now radiation is what? Radiation is basically X-ray treatment. आपने सुना है रेडिएशन के बारे में? हाँ, जला देते। आज एक बार मैं ऐसे ही, मैंने ये क्वेश्चन इसलिए पूछा क्योंकि मेरे को एक बार मैं ऐसे ही टॉक दे रहा था, तो एक लेडी उठ के मुझे बोले कि रेडिएशन क्या होता है, तो रेडिएशन बोले इलेक्ट्रिक शॉक देते हैं। मैं बोला कोई वो सलमान खान का सीन नहीं है यहाँ, कोई शॉक वगैरह नहीं देता. दिस इज बेसिकली एक्सरेज, डीप एक्सरेज विच एक्चुअली, as he rightly said, colloquially speaking, they burn the cancer cells, and that is how the cancer cells are destroyed. What has changed? The change is that we have better softwares now, the machines have also changed, so the radiation is directed, okay? So you can give radiation to a very, very small area, which means that the rest of the organs are not affected, okay? The third treatment is chemotherapy. I think she's talked so much about, it's the most feared treatment, right? People would go through surgery, radiation, but chemotherapy, oh nahi, chemotherapy nahi. क्यों नहीं चाहिए? तो एक माजी ने मुझे ऐसा बोला ऐसे ही मीटिंग में, क्योंकि आप एसिड डालते हो, एसिड। मैं बोला हम कोई बाथरूम धोने के धंधे में नहीं, कोई एसिड वगैरह नहीं डालता है, तो ये एसिड नहीं रहते. दीज आर स्ट्रॉन्ग मेडिसिन, as we all know, they do cause some side effects, but even in that things have changed. Like you are seeing, people are actually able, even one of my cousins underwent chemotherapy. She used to go to work. Of course she worked in a back office kind of thing, so she didn't have public interaction so much, because in chemotherapy what happens is, as the, जैसे the dry burns, the wet burns with the dry, वो थोड़ा सा अपने normal cells भी affect होते हैं, immunity कम होती है, so people have to take care, hair loss होता है, all these things are temporary. The moment the chemotherapy stops, everything reverses. And now the one more thing that has occurred is something called as targeted chemotherapy, which means only those cancer cells are targeted. जैसे आजकल के मिसाइल, जैसे ड्रोन अटैक्स होते हैं, आपने सुना होगा कि that terrorist was killed, only that terrorist was killed and not 100 people around him. His house also was not destroyed, only that guy was killed by a drone. So similarly, these are targeted attacks that happen. And immunotherapy, which is the new kid in town. These treatments are still extremely expensive, not available for each cancer. You must have heard of one drug, बीच में आया था, मीडिया में काफ़ी splash हुआ था कि 12 cancer patients were treated with that drug and they were completely cured. They did not have any cancer left without surgery, without radiation, without chemotherapy, without conventional chemotherapy. So these are things happening. So we are in very exciting times. A lot of things are changing. In the 25 years that I have been in cancer, I have seen so many things change. Patients' perceptions change, and people are now more confident about these treatments. So now let me just come to a last thing, that is, which is very important, and this is the message that I would leave you with, that is breast self-examination. Can we as individuals detect breast cancer? Okay, so if you have been using this as an opportunity to take a little rest and sleep, please wake up again. Say hello. Good morning. So breast self-examination. So this is the animation of breast self-examination. Should be done after 7 days after menses. First, stand in front of a mirror with the hands on the sides, then lift the hands over the heads, see whether there is any change in the size, shape, texture of the skin of the breast, and then feel the breast with the flat of your hand. Remember, the breast is made up of milk glands, so if it is felt with fingers, you will feel everything like a lump. So with the flat of the hand, dividing the breast into 5 areas, 1, 2, 3, 4, and central part, which is 5, okay, with the flat of the hand, okay. Then in the last, you are seeing the animation, press the nipple and see if there is any nipple discharge, okay. If it is red or black, as I mentioned, then we need to get it checked. So this is breast self-examination, should be done at least once a month, 7 days after periods, if you are a premenopausal woman, and in a postmenopausal once a month at any time you please. Then the second screening test is something called as a mammography. A mammography should be done at least once a year if you are above 50 till the age of 65, and at least once in 2 years if you are above 40 till the age of 50. We spread this awareness through this program. We have a mammography screening van. We have a small NGO which does work in the field of cancer awareness, and we have screened 16,000 patients so far. We work mainly in the regions of Shahapur, Wada, and in this regard we are now doing a program called Hope, Smiles and Sunshine at Kalidas Sabhagruha on 9th of October. You are all welcome. Shrikant will help you with the tickets. These are our activities that we do, and these are camps that we conduct in these areas. And what mammography actually does is it spreads a lot of awareness among these people, and it creates people who come for earlier screening for cancer, and that's how they can get detected with cancer early and thereby get cured of cancer. Thank you for a patient here. Any questions I would love to answer. Yeah. So this is the normal question that is asked, ki if I have not, that's what I said, if I have not smoked, if I have not taken any addictions, how can I get cancer? So 90%, so it is the other way around. It is like this, that everyone who jumps from a running train, does he die? Doesn't, right? So will you still jump from a running train? That's the first part of the answer. You won't, right? You wouldn't want to find out for yourself whether jumping from a running train causes death or not. So that is the first part. So you don't smoke just because you hear of a story of somebody who's not smoked and got cancer. So that is one part. The second part is these are multifactorial diseases, right? These are multifactorial diseases. These are not diseases which are caused by one single cause. Okay, these are not one single. Jaise you must have heard that so many people eat vada paos on the street. Does everyone end up with an upset stomach? No. So it is a function of your body. It's an interplay between the environment, your body, your immunity, and the disease. Okay? So there are multiple external factors at play. As I said, for example, pollution. Living in the city of Bombay means that you smoke 20 cigarettes a day. That is the kind of pollution that we live with. So even if you have done nothing, you are still subject to all of, as I told you, there is a person who does not smoke but lives with a smoker. So they are doing passive smoking, as you rightly said. They are subject to the same risk of cancer. So there are multiple reasons, and that is why one can, people who do not have any addictions also get cancer. Now, why does it get to the last stage? Now, basically what happens is your body does give you signs. Now, we are short of time, that's why I didn't go through this. There are certain very subtle signs that are there, extremely subtle. For example, there will be a nagging cough. Okay, you have taken medicines, you have taken everything, but still does not get cured. There might be a mole which you have actually given for your passport as my identity birthmark. It has changed suddenly. It has become bigger in size, it has sprouted hair, can be cancer. There is bleeding from an area. There is a lady who has stopped her menses 15 years back and suddenly she has spotting. It can be cancer. So there are very, very subtle signs, a lump which is painless, which we ignore, which we think are very, very normal, but they could be some signs of cancer like bloating, like you said, there was just bloating. They can be cancer. So these acidity. So these are things that should be, so the message is that you should be listening to your body. A lot of times in this fast paced world, we have stopped listening to our bodies. We don't think that anything can happen to us. There is a beautiful parable in the Yaksha Prashna where, you know, the Yudhishthir answers questions from the Yaksh, because so as to, you know, he says, you answer my questions and I'll allow you to drink water and I'll make your brothers alive again. So he asks him, what is the biggest wonder in this world? What is the biggest wonder in this world? And Yudhishthir answers that every day we see people dying, and yet each of us thinks that we are Amar, we are deathless, we are beyond death. That is the biggest wonder of the world, and that, my friends, is the cause of all these things going to a stage where they cannot be detected, because we think it does not happen to me, it happens to somebody next door. It cannot just happen to me. Thank you very much, and do continue spreading awareness about cancer. I'm very happy you did that. Thank you so much. And thank you again, Ashar family, for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to speak about this.
थैंक यू सर. आई एम श्योर इनको सुनने के बाद कैंसर से शायद उतना डर नहीं लग रहा होगा, स्पेशली स्पीकिंग अबाउट द ब्रेस्ट कैंसर, बिकॉज एज सर सेड वाइल वी यूज़ द वर्ड ब्रेस्ट, इट इज़ लाइक यू नो कुछ सालों पहले वी वर यूजिंग द वर्ड menstruation or you know the sanitary pads, napkins, but hopefully we are more aware. Okay, there is nothing to feel shy about it, because we are having sisters, we are having daughters, we are having mothers and grandmothers at home. Okay, so especially for women, जैसे sir ने बताया, there are 13 types of cancers, right sir? 13 types of cancers. And इसके पहले तो शायद I was one of the persons thinking कि शायद cancer means like one type of cancer, probably किसी body part में होता होगा. But he has इतने अच्छे तरीके से इन्होंने explain किया है. तो I think sir ने अभी जो बताया है, probably we'll go home and we'll be more aware about ourselves, our own health. That is more important. Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your advices. And I'd like to call Ayushi ma'am and to felicitate our guests over here. Ma'am, please. Round of applause. Thank you.
I think before anything, I would just like to thank you, doctor, for such a wonderful session. I think cancer is a very, scary word for a lot of people, but somewhere deep down, whether it is through your family, through your friends, through your business relations, someone or the other is always, of someone, unfortunately, who's suffering from this disease. And you have really shed light on it in a beautiful way. And I think more than anything, it's just about giving the inspiration and the strength to a lot of people and creating awareness. And I think that is the first step in combating the mental trauma that it causes, not just to the patient, but to the family that goes through all of this with them. So thank you so much for taking time out from your busy schedule, I know, and coming here today.
Anju ma'am, please over here to felicitate Dr. Naveen as well. Seema ma'am for Sushmita Rana to felicitate Sushmita Rana as well. Please. Sushmita ma'am.